How do I smoke this?
Dude, it's so cool. Tell them,
Okay, man, see this bong? This is a bong, and here's how you hit it.
lower the moon bomb.
Ladies and gentlemen, boys and girls, it's Moonawana time.
Then we shall stoke the flame with Moonawana. Done. That looked like a big old tire.
Moonawana grows in the shape of a tire.
Any dealer will tell you that.
So burn the flame.
Stand by to revisit the Stone Age.
Yeah, the stoned age. Ow.
Light it up. I'm going head first in this bitch.
Like hell you are? I'm the one riddled with diseases.
Well, I need it too, because I got the disease. And I need medication.
Okay.
Hey, you guys want to hit this? No, thank you. That's a poisonous tire.
What?
I mean, we're already very high.
Ahoy, tent pirates, plant parents, conscious consumers, and the morbidly curious. Welcome to Cultivation Conversation, a podcast for growers by growers. Come chat with our hosts, Captain Autoflower, the Real Green Monster, and myself, Girl Go Grow. Grab a bouquet of your favorite flowers, apparatus of choice, and don't forget the fire while I tell you about the special companies that help keep this ship afloat. We are busy people, and we demand the best for our plants, so all three of us automate our grows with Autopots. Available in over 63 countries, gravity-powered Autopot systems rely on no pumps, no timers, and no power to operate. This plant-driven automated watering is so precise, it will reduce consumption of feed while increasing yield. An effective and efficient way to delegate a little responsibility. Let your plants feed themselves. Use code CC10 at autopot-usa.com. If quality is the name of your game, look no further than AC Infinity. AC Infinity's grow tents, lights, accessories, and ventilation systems offer reliability and affordability along with total environmental control. Use code CULTIVATION on acinfinity.com to save even more. Frass Valley produces the highest quality superworm frass. Naturally strengthen your plants and enhance their resistance to pests and disease. Use code CC10 at frassvalley.com. We are big fans of Mass Hydroponics. Whether you're a local in Massachusetts or accessing their full online catalog, they are your one-stop shop for all of your growing needs. Use code CC10 at mass-hydro.com.
What is going on, everybody out there in podcast land? Happy Tuesday.
Hello, my darlings.
Happy fucking Tuesday.
Going on. Welcome everyone in the chat. How y'all doing tonight?
I'm doing well, man. Just a little hot.
Hot, huh? I mean, I can't believe it's hotter where you are than where we are. That's ridiculous.
Yeah, that's weird.
Yeah, and I made a dumb decision to pack up my air conditioner 3 weeks sooner than I really needed to. So it's excessively hot in my office.
You're running with no AC at all. Fuck.
Well, in the main living quarters, there's still air conditioning, but out here, negative Ghost Rider.
God damn. I will maintain that air conditioning is the greatest invention of the 20th century and perhaps even of all time.
It's pretty hard to argue that, honestly, because I'm the type of guy that, like, I'm turning that shit on in my car in April. You know what I mean? Like,
yeah. Otherwise, I'm sweating through shirts. Like,
you know, the people that choose not to use air conditioning because it costs too much money. I mean, just even with today's electricity rates, it can't cost more than $30 or $40 a month to run a big chunk of AC. It's totally worth it, in my opinion. I'm not going to sweat, especially when I'm sleeping. That ain't happening.
Yeah, I don't like being uncomfortable.
Dude, I need my room ice cold when I'm sleeping.
Yeah, man. Like I want to wrap up in a blanket, be under the
Mhm.
sheet. You know, something.
Summertime, you gotta be under the blankets. But yeah, AC definitely helps us humans get through summer. Also helps the plants get through summer. I mean, what would we do without it? Our plants would probably fucking die without it too. I mean, let's be
Yeah.
real. I got
Yeah.
my
Pretty tough.
AC cranking in my grow room all summer long. So hats
The
off.
electric company loves us.
Yeah,
Thank you, Ted Pirates.
that's right. Well, I don't know who invented AC, but man, we should write him a thank you note. Or her. I don't know. Could have been anyone for that matter. But what are you guys smoking on tonight is the looming question.
So
Go ahead, tell us, Monster. What is it? Bzz, bzz.
I am smoking on some anaphylaxis live rosin.
Been digging that for a couple weeks, huh?
Mhm.
Yeah, it's good shit. I had a friend of mine that was able to whip it up for me because I don't have a freeze dryer. So I'm definitely enjoying it. It's
I'm jealous.
good. It's good shit. You know, keeps me going because I got a lot going on right now. I haven't been able to really even stop for the last 2 weeks or so. So it's something though that like I almost feel like I have too much coffee if I smoke too much of it. It's like like
Yeah, that shot of espresso type weed.
Mhm.
A little racy.
Yeah, definitely a little racy.
Channel it.
Ooh,
It's just straight energy right there.
for sure.
Harness the power.
Definitely.
What about you, Cap? Tell us what you got.
Use sparingly before bed if you have those
yeah.
narrow leafs. I am enjoying the hell out of my keeper that I did not keep, which we discussed on the last show.
The non-keeper.
Yeah, the Violet Beauregard number 2.
Number 2.
It's just, man, like super dense buds. Oh, I got jar lids flying everywhere. Here's a little preview
Nice.
there. Yeah, just real nice, solid, super. Like this one has more of a sticky trichomes than the other one, which was more like sandy. We kind of discussed that. I think it was with Adam from 2020.
Yeah.
One show, and he was mentioning how like certain trichomes just behave differently in terms of extraction, which I have found to be true too. Sorry, I'm looking for my jar lid. There it is. But for as far as flower goes, and as far as just like, I would say, I press my own rosin, but minimally. I just have enough to like constantly have some if I want to dab. But 80 to 90% of my intake is flower. I'm old school kind of guy, but it's the sticky trichomes are better, I find, for quality of flower, whereas like the sandy trichomes are better for the extraction enthusiasts. So, yeah, just from my experience, I don't know. Your results may vary, but for sure. So this one has sticky trichomes, which makes just it's just got more punch to the flower. Like as soon as I open that jar, this one has a lot of gas to it, and then that blueberry comes in the back end. But yeah, this one's got like is definitely the gassier pheno. So
I like her a lot, but she makes me dumb.
It definitely makes me dumb. Definitely makes me dumb. Man,
it's
I got
to have some dumb weed,
right? Yeah, this is one that like for sure it kind of just like you'll be very like laid back on the couch with like a stupid smile on your face, just like watching dumb cartoons or something. You know what I mean? Like or a commercial, for Christ's sake, anything. It just makes you happy and dumb at the same time. I find it's a pleasant combo.
Maybe not great for show night, but yeah.
Cheers.
Good point. Yeah, cheers. I'm going to use sparingly.
What about you, G3?
So this is like my first foray with the double smile from the Grow Along. So she's a double grape mango smile cross. Yeah, we'll see how she does. She tastes beautiful. She's like mangoes and grapes, like the big fat purple grapes and mangoes. That's it. Just fruity and lovely. Half-assed fruit salad. Awesome. We'll see how her effects are. She's making me like a little, like not shaky, but like bouncy. We'll see if that goes away.
Bouncy, huh?
Yeah.
That's cool. So, excuse me. Oh, I don't even know what that was. Got like that bong rip stuck in my throat. Hold on.
I think he meant to hit mute.
He's back. No.
Are you okay?
I told you that. I told you that weed makes me stupid. Man.
That was fucking great. That won't translate to the audio podcast, but for those of you who are listening, he disappeared and came back and disappeared and came back.
It's like
I think all within like 5 seconds. It was pretty interesting, actually.
Yeah, no, it just like kind of got me lightheaded, that one. Man, yeah, this stuff is potent. Honestly, I'd be interested to see what like this came back testing wise. I feel like it's definitely got some of those minor cannabinoids in it. It's entourage effect type weed, you know?
Yeah. Is there anywhere in your area where you can have it tested?
It's a good question. Honestly, I don't like. I could send some away, I guess.
Yeah, you could. There's a testing facility in Pennsylvania. They're specifically
I just didn't know if it was open
like,
to like a lot of these testing facilities close their doors to like just.
Yeah, what am I gonna do? Go in there with like a little baggie?
Yeah.
Like, I just found this, man. Like, someone gave me this random sample.
Sample's a sample,
I'd really like to
right?
have it
well, you're medical, so I think you'd be all right. But
exactly, you want to have your medical tested and see if it measures anywhere close to what they claim.
Honestly, I don't even. Can you do that, or is it just?
I don't see why not.
Yeah, so I was new to the process up until a few months ago. I went in. There's a place called MCR Labs here in Mass, and I brought some stuff in to test for a joint, and it was a pretty cool process. Actually, it was a lot like more laid back than I thought it would be. Cool dudes, and it was pretty inexpensive. I want to say it was like $75 for full testing with cannabinoid report, terpene report.
I mean, that's a little rich for my blood, but not a bad deal.
No, it's good just to get an idea. You know what I mean? Of where you're at.
Yeah, no, I it would probably be like, listen, if someone was like, if I go to a show or something, I got a sample on me, and it's like $20 to get a reasonably accurate sample, I'm in. But like, I don't know if I'm.
What would you consider reasonably accurate?
Within 2 or 3 percentage points. I mean,
that's definitely reasonable.
Yeah, I mean, it's probably not going to be like lab accurate, but
yeah, I have trust issues with things like that.
I know there's like a few of these things, and I haven't really looked into them so much, so I'm kind of ignorant to them. But I know that there are devices that the home grower can attain to do these things. I just don't know if they are accurate enough.
That's what it's called. It's there you go.
Supposedly not.
Grow in the Mitten says it's a T-check.
Oh my gosh, look at how cute Jester is.
It's a cute little corgi. Yeah, T-check. There you go.
What do they go for?
It's
they're
question.
A couple hundred. I want to say like, I could be way off, but I want to say like $300.
$300?
Really?
That might be the purple though.
Too cheap.
Yeah, for to be able to home test THC and shit like that.
Let's find out, shall we?
It does. Like it's funny, right? I remember. I mean, I don't want to go too far off the rails, but a long time ago, I watched a special on this dude who had trouble selling his handbags. Right, they were $20 and $30. Next, he raised the prices to $200 and $300, and he sold out within 2 days. So it's like the human mindset. I almost have a hard time trusting it because it's that cheap. I feel like that's too cheap for that type of technology. To be able to have that, to test THC, terpenes, $300 doesn't. It just doesn't seem right.
I'm bringing it up here.
I don't know if you get a full. I think it's
Whoa.
limited.
Don't want to subscribe. Let's see. Shop. All in one. Sure.
I'm skeptical. That's all. I'd love to be proven wrong. I'm just a little skeptical.
Yeah, so
So yeah,
$360.
$360.
Huh.
What it does is it checks THC and CBD potency in flower. It says it does butter, coconut oil, alcohol tinctures, dried cannabis flower, concentrates, distillates, isolates. So what? Now I'm wondering how it works.
Colors.
Yeah, I'm honestly wondering how it works now.
Now, does it just give you a THC and CBD percentage? That's it. Because that doesn't really interest me too much.
Yeah, maybe.
So there's also Purple Scientific, which I want to say that they have more data points, but I could be on that too. I don't know. I'm super skeptical about all of these.
All right, so you get a tray, an eyedropper, a scale, syringes. Oh man, this sounds way too much like a biology lab.
What do you think testing is?
I mean, I don't know. Can't someone do this for me? Like that's my. Can I just like send this in and it's just done? Like I would fuck this up like in a heartbeat. But no, I honestly, all right. So it's like you get like a little plastic thingy and you put it in what looks like a chip reader on this kind of device. I think it has
to get mixed with oil of some kind.
I imagine you make
and
like a microscope tray type thing. You know what I mean? Maybe with some sort of like
you
solvent.
don't like put a bud on a slide and slam it in there. It has to be like you have to basically extract it.
I'm not interested until I can just put a bud on a slide and
that's what I think Purple does. So it has this thing with a light on it, and you put your bud literally on top of it, and it gives you a measurement. And I'm like,
it's called Purple.
PURPL Scientific.
Oh gosh! All right, hold on. I'm going to stop sharing the screen.
Stop
and
it.
I'm going to look up Purple just in case my Google search yields some results that I did not intend. PURPL.
Yeah.
Okay, that's already we're getting a little risky here. Purple Scientific, first fucking thing. I am 21 or older.
Yeah, so I was slightly covetous about this for a little while, and I remain skeptical. I'd love to put it to the test, but
turn your phone into a lab-accurate tester for potency and more. Purple Pro puts FDA-endorsed technology in the palm of your hand for easy answers anywhere.
What's the bottom line on that bitch?
Well, let's find out, shall we? Click buy. Oh my fucking God.
There you go, Monster. Do you think it's worth it now?
No. Not especially when I can just drive up the street to the lab and
good Lord, that's a lot of money.
Yeah.
For those of you not watching, it is $1,995.00.
Jeez, man. All right. I mean, that's super cool. Like, I mean, honestly, the technology is awesome. Like, cool that it's out there.
There's been stuff up like this out for a while now, and I remember years ago somebody like put a piece of shoe leather in it and it came back at 21%. So
those meat terps.
I have a hard time trusting these types of devices.
That's like the baseline. That's like you get 200 points just for filling out your name on the SATs, right?
Yeah. So I have trust issues with these home devices.
I remain skeptical.
All right. Sample us, Purple Scientific. We will test your product, your testing product.
Give it to us.
Who will test the testers? We will. That's who.
The only way to really do it, to test it, is to use that and then bring it to a lab.
And then
Same
send them to a
sample.
lab.
But
Exactly.
no, I think you're right, G3. Like this has a grinder and a funnel that it comes shipped with. So you literally like you grind your weed up and you slam it the fuck in there.
No, there's a light. I think this one has a light on top. You
A
literally
light?
sit it on top of it.
Oh, there's no slamming?
No, there's no slamming in this one. Only
oh.
in the other one. The T-check has slamming. If that's your thing.
A little bit, a little slamming. Now, this is honestly, it's cool as fuck. However, way too outside of my price range for pirate, tent pirate grow style.
Yeah, you could set
growing.
up a fucking whole grow for less than that.
But, like, I mean, if you're a caregiver, if you're making some kind of money from your operation, I mean, this might be a cool thing to have. So you can.
I'm pretty sure
constantly show people what you're working with,
Master Yoda has some sort of home THC testing device. I don't know what it is. I don't know if he's listening tonight, but I'd be interested to see how that works, because I know one thing about him. He likes to buy toys, and he does a lot of research before he buys these toys. So I'd be willing to bet that whatever he has is probably the best one you can get.
Word.
Best bang for your buck.
Purple, man. I've never heard of this. Where did you hear this G3?
I don't remember originally.
It's
on Instagram somewhere.
A Stores and Bickle grinder and funnel. That's the high quality one. Interesting. No, really. Like I mean, I hope that price comes down over the course of time. Competition, like we got to get that technology in our hands, but not for fucking 2Gs. I mean, holy shit.
Yeah, I think we're getting the cannabis tax on that thing.
Maybe a little bit, right? Maybe just a wee bit.
But I bet you there are plenty of people that are buying that thing, so they won't lower the price anytime soon.
I'm going to talk to somebody who has one.
So, like, here's my question. Like, all right, I bet you there's a device that measures, like, the potency of chili peppers. Like capsaicin per, I don't even know what the measurement would be.
Scoville units?
Yes, Scoville units, exactly. There you go. You're so smart, G3. So I imagine there's a machine that measures the capsaicin and the Scoville units in each chili pepper. So, like, how much is that? Is it 2Gs? I wonder. Or is it just
maybe
cannabis tax?
Master Yoda said the purple froze in the garbage. Tell us why.
Oh no. We're bringing. I mean, hey, they ain't thinking to sponsor us anyway.
No,
what the chat says.
I believe what Master Yoda says, because I'm super skeptical of all these things. Which one do you have?
Why do you say that, dude? Yeah, that's my question.
Yeah. I want to know which one he has.
Oh my gosh, really? Monthly subscription to access the water
paying
content.
$2,000, you have to pay a monthly subscription.
Yeah, go pound sand.
Feels,
dude,
cruel and unusual.
That's such like par for the course in 2023 though. Like everything's becoming a monthly subscription service. If you haven't noticed.
Dude, I it's like my biggest pet peeve. Like I don't pay for cable anymore. I don't pay for cable anymore, but I swear to God, with all these streaming services, it's pretty damn fucking close. They got to figure it out.
It's in the trash, not in the garbage.
It's trash, not in the garbage. I thought he said he literally put in the garbage. Throw away
That's
$2,000.
so funny. Well,
yikes!
Hey, unfiltered reaction from our crew is what you get here. He has the Gemma Cert Pro.
All right, well, let's look it up.
Oh my gosh, I had no idea there were so many options. Gemma Cert. Dude, are you kidding me now? I want your job, Master Yoda. Here we go. Bring this up. Honestly, dude, what do you do for a living? Because this is fucking This is 8Gs right here. I don't know if they have like a non-professional version because I am an amateur. I am a GemaCert amateur. Do you have that version, sir?
Reminds me of one time when I walked up to NECAN, and the first thing you see was this booth with extraction equipment, and the lady pulled us aside right away. And she's talking
they have
to
a
us.
light.
And
Sorry.
I'm like, oh, so what does that go for? She's like, oh, we have options starting at 16,000. And I'm like, yeah, see you later. Like, I don't know who the fuck you thought you were talking to, but thanks for the pitch. See you later.
So, wow, this does. He's got the Pro. He says, and it does THC, CBD, CBG, and water activity. Works with whole dried flower buds, trim, ethanol based extracts. I mean, dude, this thing seems badass.
What about them terps? Is there one that does?
See, that I imagine is like, dude, that's got to be, if this is 8Gs to test the terps, shit, man. It's going to be like
terpenes definitely seems like something harder to test.
It's going to be a car payment right there. Brand new car. I mean, honestly, this shit's cool that it's out there. I think it's, if you are a pro, truly, if you're a pro or like you're like Master Yoda who wants, he's a home grower who literally likes to have the toys, and shit, man. If you got the game and you got the bank account, by all fucking means, go buy those toys. I want to know what my flower test.
Can we look up the MyDX? He says there's one for terps.
For terps. Man, Master Yoda coming in with the info. My DX analyzer. Okay. Portable chemical analyzer. Good Lord, look at these happy people analyzing their chemicals.
They're all terped out, dude.
They're on the beach checking their chemical content of their flower. Life is fucking good. Can't get enough of that stock image they chose to use. Oh my God. All right. Okay, we're hiding prices. They got a lot of fancy looking equipment.
I'm already out.
Analyzer kit. All right. Oh, okay.
A grand.
A grand
Okay.
to do.
Okay. You got me back.
Analysis.
You got me back.
So everything you need to optimize your grow.
Interesting. And what does it say that it does? Because you have to forgive me. I'm trying
to skim everything here. Terpenes covered. Pinene, linalool, terpinene, myrcene, humulene, limonene,
limonene,
camphene, terpenylene. Yeah.
Okay, so it's got just about all the major ones that you would need.
There's a lot of terps, man. Cannabinoids covered: THC, CBD, and CBN. So
it does cannabinoids too.
Yeah. So why, like this one? Why is this one then like the? I mean, aside from the first one we looked at, right? This is like seemingly medium priced for what you're getting, and it does terps as well as THC, CBD, all that stuff. I don't know. Yeah, I don't know. I'm literally learning about this stuff with you guys. It's really interesting, though.
Yeah, it is fascinating. Honestly, it just again, I'm skeptical of it all. The only way to really truly tell is if they're accurate or not is to have it tested by a professional lab and with one of these devices if you're choosing.
Here, does this work? Can I watch this? Can you hear this?
Welcome to the MyDX Analyzer interactive video. Let's get started.
We're going to watch this for 2 minutes.
First, turn the unit on and set it on a flat surface. Next, fill the insert with cannabis by grinding it against the rim of the insert. Snap it closed.
Slam it. Slam it.
Open the chamber, insert the sample,
Slam
and
it.
close. Next,
There you go.
on your smart device,
One
make sure your
slam.
Bluetooth and Wi-Fi are connected. Start up the app, Log in with your username and password. Then, on the home screen, select the Analyze button on the bottom left-hand corner. Hit Cannabis Flower. The app will look for your device, then select it. We've already inserted the sample, so hit Next. Then start and begin testing. The unit will test for approximately 3 minutes.
All right.
3 minutes?
already
That's
bored.
fast.
Excuse me. It is, dude. This technology is awesome. Like I like it a lot. It's, I mean, seemingly a little complex.
Is it a spectrometer? What do they use?
I don't know. I want to put a piece of like rock wool in it and see what it says.
I can imagine like my mom trying to use this thing. How does it pair? Do I have to pair it with my phone?
Don't even get me started, dude.
Yeah, like does this thing work without the internet, without the iPhone?
No, nothing works without technology.
Because I thought like these happy people on the beach that I saw on their homepage surely don't have Wi-Fi out on whatever beach they're sitting out on, right? So like, I don't know.
Yeah, no, I think you need the smartphone and the damn interwebs connected to get to work. But I mean, look, if you're gonna spend that type of money on it, it's not like it's weird how they show them out on a fucking beach. You know what I mean? Like, guys, we're having a testing party or something. Like, I don't know, just you can't set up a scenario where that stock image makes any sense.
No
with the product that they're trying to market.
No, I like again. I love that that's out there, but I need those prices to drop before I even pay any attention at all. Not in my wheelhouse. But yeah. What you guys got? Anything going on garden wise? You want to?
Same shit, different day. I pulled down some Sacred Watch recently.
Ooh, yeah.
Oh, yeah.
What do you think?
It was good.
Initial impressions.
I like it a lot. The smoke is really good. The structure on it was good. I mean, overall, she wasn't fussy. So I could definitely recommend. Yeah, I'd recommend that for anybody really. And they grew nice and big, and even with some issues towards the end that were my fault, she didn't seem to even bat an eyelash. So yes, I had issues with heat at the end. That like it was excessive, like 98 degrees. Like the last, yeah. So
it was
all of the ladies took it like a champ. They kept rolling.
One of the original boy bands, by the way, from the late 90s there.
98 degrees.
Yeah, remember them?
Couldn't tell you anything about them, but I definitely remember the name.
My sister had their albums. God, I remember smoking a lot of tinfoil bowls to try to escape the boy band blare coming from her bedroom.
Yeah, luckily I didn't have any sisters. Just annoying brothers.
Yeah, I mean, dude, I had to. Yeah, the boy band phase was another thing entirely. But that's not going to get into that. I want to honestly, when you get the when you have a smoke report, I want to hear. I want to live reacts on the show. Sacred Watch.
I'll have it ready. I'll have it ready for the next show.
Nice. Like you said, I think it's a super easy plant to grow. Like anyone, if this is your first autoflower grow or any grow, like if you want an easy plant to grow that's going to grow big and yield really well for you, pretty much no matter what, I would check out Outcast Genetics, Sacred Watch. I mean, yeah, you can take it to the bank. And yeah, go listen to the past episode that we had him on if you're interested further.
I think I'm running her next in my next run.
Yeah, you can't go wrong. Me and my buddy liked it so much that we planted more of them before these ones were even ready. So I have another round a couple weeks behind.
Nice.
Yeah. The only thing I would say is that I think it's a little leafy, so it's going to be a bitch to trim.
Yeah. I mean that. I think
it goes with the territory with autoflowers, really.
Yeah, it does. Another I'm not sure if like every pheno would be, but like mine was on the leafier side too, I would say. But not like, I don't know. There's a difference between like leafy and like not compact and kind of larfy. You know what I mean? Like this one just had a lot of fan leaves. Really?
Yeah, it's not larfy by any means, but it just definitely like on the leafier side.
Yeah. There's sugar leaves too. A lot of sugar leaves on mine. Do you trim your sugar leaves?
Yeah,
Yeah.
yeah.
Like, even when they get
they have
really
trichomes,
big.
but I mean, they're a little harsh if you smoke too many of them. Like I'll leave some, maybe like a little bit on, but my perfect like ideal cannabis, you barely have to trim. Like you just
Yeah.
a couple of fucking fan leaves and maybe a few flicks
Yeah,
of
knock them off.
yeah, and you're done.
Right,
This
we got
wasn't
a question
like
there. Ohm Grower says, "You says that's by Outcast Genetics?"
I do.
Yes, sir. Outcast
Yep.
with a K. Outcast Genetics Sacred Watch. Got me super high too.
Yeah, I
One
mean,
that I would have
I
been curious to test.
I
on
smoked the
What's our-
bone. It was
home
good.
potency, you know.
What's your profile like?
I don't remember honestly. It got
Mine
me high.
was mine was a very green apple, like tart.
Oh, I would have remembered that.
Tangy
I
type.
didn't get anything like that at
You didn't
all.
get anything? Like it definitely had an OG structure. And yeah, mine had definitely a sour smell.
Yeah, I do. I remember a little bit of sour, but I didn't get any apple. But maybe it literally was like the point where it was finished trimming. I took a joint's worth, smoked it, got us high. So I'll go back and try some later.
So Stony says, "What's up, Stony? Sugar leaves are a great way to taste the flavonoids, and they're delicious."
job,
And
bravo.
he would know because he's a chef. What do you mean there, man? Like, so you leave them on your buds and you smoke your sugar leaves? Like that's
I think
that's
if
what
you
I'm
leave too
curious
many of
about,
them on, it's
honestly.
going to be a little too harsh. Personally,
I trim them and chuck them into oil.
Gonna make
My
you
leave
cough.
yeah, nothing goes to waste. Nothing goes
Mm-hmm.
to waste that way. It'll go into the hash pile. But yeah, I prefer not to smoke too many of
He
them.
says it translates to the taste on the smoke. Interesting.
Hmm.
That is very interesting. I've never really made
Do you
that
think that
connection.
there's a fine line between that, Stoney? Like there is, like maybe could be too many. Would push
Too many
back
to
on
make
that.
it to like pollute the taste of the bud.
Yeah, I would think so.
That's our chat's live tonight. Aussie Auto says, "To be the plant, you must eat the plant." I don't think he means eat the sugar leaves. Like, I mean, like that would be a little weird if you're like going up to your plants when they're still growing, picking off the sugar leaves. Like,
yeah, I'm just wondering if leaving too many
little
sugar leaves on is a bad thing. Like,
yeah,
I
and
wonder if
the
it gets
dried
to a
product.
point where it's too much.
Interesting.
I think it depends on the size. Like you're not going to leave on like giant ones that are all chlorophyll and plant matter. But those little ones up top, that's way more trichomes than plant matter. Leave them be.
True. I tend to leave mine on just because I hate trimming, like and there tends to be on some strains, there are a lot of sugar leaves. I mean, it's one thing I've been noticing about all these sours that I've got. I popped a bunch of beans recently. Hooray, hooray, hooray. It is bean popping season. But yeah, like the sours that I'm looking at, all these flower pictures, like you can really tell one of these sours apart from other strains by their almost elongated looking sugar leaves. And like deep dark green in contrast with like the lime green, bright, neon looking buds underneath of them. And it's like, that's the one like distinguishing feature. And it's like, to not have that is like to not be a sour, basically. It's the first thing people look for. It's just like, yeah, telltale, you know? So I'm expecting a lot of sugar leaves, which
What did you pop?
all good. The ones I think I held them up last show. So like I popped a bunch of photo periods. I got bit by the photo bug. Old Captain Auto Flower here. Still running autos. I have 2 autos going. I will always have at least 2. I assure you that. Just for variety, guys, like the spice of life, but I just enjoy growing the photos, I think, more. I enjoy the process a little better.
They're a totally different animal.
They're a little bit slower, but like there's more like, I don't know. I feel like there's just more thought involved. There's more like planning it out and like thinking ahead and just, if you just throw a bunch of fem autos in a pot, like they're going to work no matter what light cycle. Like there's no light cycle changes. They can all work on the same light cycle. It doesn't matter what phase of life they're in. Every auto, no matter what age, will get along with any other auto in a tent. I've never seen 2 autos not get along in a tent before. You know what I mean? They mesh very well.
Depending on space.
Yeah, that's a whole different issue.
Some ladies like their room.
That's very true. But assuming you give them the space and the proper environment, all that stuff, like if they're neighbors and they have enough space in between, the houses, they're going to get along great. Whereas photo periods, not so much. Obviously, like you got to think, are they fems? Are they regs? How long do these strains take to flower? Like what? It's kind of like, I don't know. You got to think this thing through a little bit. And I was working with 4 different strains, 2 of which are fem, okay? 2 of which are regs. My plan, like, my grow style, I like to veg for enough time to determine sex with regs. Then I will transplant into like, I really enjoyed the 9-gallon auto pots. Really, like that was such an easy and amazing way to get a huge plant, big yield. Like, why wouldn't I do 4 big photo periods again in my 5x5? So I want 4 ultimately. How many beans of like what varieties do you think I popped? If like I have 4 different strains, 2 are fems, 2 are regs. So like how many of each did I pop, do you think?
If it was regs for me and I needed 1 female, I would plant 3.
Ding, 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 motherfucker. Hit the nail on the head. And of course, with the fems, I mean, that's an easy question. Like you plant 1 fem bean, you expect to get 1 fem plant.
Are these in solos or are you direct sowing?
Right. So I direct sow now.
So you got 3 in a pot and you're just going to yank 2?
3 in like 3 1-gallon pots is my like starting container. 1-gallon pot. And I plant, they each get their own pot. We got 3 regs of the 2 reg varieties. So that's like, 6 reg beans that I popped and then 2 fem beans. So, I mean, that's, yeah, I may like, and that my thinking was probably exactly yours, Monster. I mean, I want 1 really good female from my reg seeds.
Nothing's a guarantee, but I mean, 1 out of 3, you should get a female.
1 out of 2, you should, but like that, I just want to hedge my bet a little bit. Like I want to make sure I get 1 of each. Like I really want to do this 4 strain variety.
And then ideally you get 2 females, if not 3, yeah. And then you pick your favorite.
If not 3. And then I get, then I'm looking at, health, vigor, stem rub, a little bit of that kind of stuff.
Yep.
Yeah. But then of course, like I expect the fem beans to be fems. So easy enough. where it gets a little tricky then too. And like, I just enjoy the thinking this kind of stuff out. Like my whole grow is planned ahead of time, like truly. Not in terms of like when I'm going to feed and all that stuff. You got to play, you got to read your plants as they're growing, but like just when I want to harvest and what, like I need these things out of the tent in jars by Christmas, you know, that's my plan. So I was counting up the weeks. Like, I mean, we're dealing with some of these sours will take like 11 weeks, 77 days to finish, 80 on one of the packs, you know, but worth it from what I understand, you know, if you can wait that long. So I enjoy the process, the thinking ahead to the slower growth cycle of the plant itself when you're doing it. Just more time to react, especially as an organics, you know, grower. I don't have like the magical solution that's just going to like immediately get into the plant. Like I could whip up a foliar spray, sure. But you know what I mean? Like to stay ahead of things feeding wise, I think photo periods are a little bit easier, a little more forgiving. And then it allows me to really maximize each plant too.
Yeah.
Train it.
I think I could agree with that. I mean, you definitely, you make one mistake in an auto, depending on what you do, and you could stunt it or fuck it up, and the results will show. You know, definitely a little bit more forgiving.
For sure, dude.
I can't wait to watch you veg these too long and then bitch about having no space.
Right.
It's gonna be great.
I'm like a broken record. That's kind of how my grows work. I mean,
you're like, how do I do this to yourself? You do it every single time.
Yeah. Well, some of those sours stretch a lot too. So
yes, that
be prepared.
Some of them are at like 3.5. Sometimes like they do get very large. So my plan is I'm going to top them and use the topping and sexing method in the solo cup, like we've spoken about before. Plants do not need roots to show sex. Easiest way for me to do this, because I have a spare tent, it's sitting right here off camera. I'm looking at it. So I could put cuttings in solo cups in this tent, flip the light cycle to 12-12, and within what would you say, Monster? Like 5 days, 6 days?
No, usually probably like 7 to 10. The males will show first.
Captain's clip and flip.
The clip and flip. Yep, it works, man. It really does work.
Yeah, I'm glad you're doing it this way instead of trying to like root bound them, because you lose a lot of time that way, especially since they're going to be 11 week, you know, in flower anyway.
You do. I mean, because I need these things, like they you know, I may be planning another Christmas vacation, just so like I need them gone. You know what I mean? Need them gone, and so just adding up the weeks. Yeah, when you're dealing with an 11, maybe even a 12-week flower cycle, like that's a lot, man. That's a long fucking time.
I don't think it'll go much past 11 weeks personally, but I mean,
no.
Either way, I think at that point, unless it's like really obvious, you probably just have to like, all right, that's it. You guys are coming down, you know?
Yeah. So we are talking photos, Master Yoda. So like I'm talking about an 11-week flower cycle, not, 84 and out the door, seed to harvest. This is like 77 days after you flip. That's a long run. So especially because, I need them out the tent. I may even listen. I've done the clip and flip method twice now. It has worked successfully on one of those occasions. I think the reason it didn't work the second time is because I didn't like you actually have to snip a significant amount off of a top. Like you can't do it when it's at like 5 nodes and snip back to the third. You have to wait a little longer, honestly, and like maybe clip like 3 or 4 nodes. Like,
yeah, I usually prefer like a side branch over the top to do that personally.
but aren't you just like topping the plant anyway?
Yeah, honestly, you probably. I don't really top much anymore. I do more just manipulating with training by bending the top over lower. That way.
I gotcha. I mean, so maybe 3 or 4 nodes is a bit excessive, but you know what I mean.
Not really. I mean, look, the
sizable
longer
snip.
that snipping is, the longer it's going to stay alive. If you're not in the ideal condition.
And
So
you're kind of asking it to do a lot too for a little snipping. You know, you're asking it to like to show sex for you. You know, it's not what they're exactly programmed to do. So give it a little bit of space to do that for you. Like literally, Master Yoda, I snipped off, like, we're talking like I did a topping operation, and we're talking like a top. You know, I took that much off and I put it in a solo cup, and it did nothing. So like, you definitely want like a cutting size, maybe this big, to put in a solo cup. Whether that's, you know, you got to wait till your plant's 3 weeks old till you get something that size in order to work with. Like, that's fine.
sounds about right.
You have to at least have mature leaves on there somewhere. Like, if you're topping your plant, I don't think those leaves are mature enough to really like recognize the light cycle, report everything back, and trigger that reaction.
Well, there
you
is
have
some
to have
truth to
some
that.
real leaves
There is some
that actually know how to work.
Yeah, no, she's kind of right. There is some truth behind that, because even if you take a seedling and you flip it,
it
like,
has to reach maturity first.
Yeah,
right?
it's got to get a little mature before it'll start flowering.
All right. So like, maybe I'll just wait till they're like 21 days old, 24 days old. I'll take a little cutting, you know, I'll do the clip and flip with the top. And then by the time I know which is which, I mean, I will hopefully have these flipped before. I'll have them transplanted and flipped before 6 weeks.
Your other option is to just flip it and keep an eye out for things. Pull out the males, but I mean, that's a little bit more stressful.
It's not, because like, I gotta, you know, I want the.
You're narrowing it down, and you're gonna throw them into the champagne room, as you call it.
Yep. And then veg them for like another week and a half. Let them get really healthy and in a nice big new bed of soil, new pot, not a bed. Plants get some new shoes. You know, they're always happy. Always happy.
That is a long commitment.
I mean, I enjoy it. Plus, like, I think that this type of, like, the type of strains that I picked, like the, you know, real sours that take a long time, like, you don't find this stuff in dispensaries because it takes a long time. It's not like cost-effective stuff to grow. And it's like, if I'm going to be doing this, like, why not grow something that you just can't find every day on your dispensary shelf?
Are you slightly concerned that you're going to have so much flower that has similar profiles to each other? You're gonna be so sick of sours.
Yes and no, because I think I have a good, like, spectrum of crosses, you know, and I think sour itself is like a spectrum. You know, it can be a lot of things to a lot of different people. So I don't think you can get sick of sour. I don't. Plus, I have that skunk too, so it's you know, sours and skunks, baby.
Which one are you looking forward to the most?
That's a real tough question. Man, honestly, the West Coast sour intrigues the hell out of me from 2020, because, like, I think someone in one of my IG posts made a comment like just hearing West Coast in front of the word sour kind of makes me like I got like one
That ain't
eyebrow
right.
raised. Like, huh? Wait, West Coast?
Are you
said?
sure?
Like, yeah, right. Because I've only ever seen, the East Coast sours, and those were like so prevalent in our area when I was coming up. But I assume they had them out west too, and like they know their weed, so like they got to have some good representations. It's just intriguing to me, And beside that one, I mean all of them, all four truly. I'm like very excited about all of them, but that local skunk is calling my name too. Some of the lineage of that one are like I was looking them up the other day, and they're like these old kind of, I don't know, use the word legendary almost. Like they're like talked about in like circles of people going way back like decades. And the one was called like the Hell's Angels hash plant or something like that, and it was just like their most cherished cut of like of a hash plant, real heavy indica style that just dumps resin, and like it's in there. It's just this like very old school, very off the radar type of stuff, which I don't know, the more I'm growing, the more that kind of appeals to me. I can go find cookies anywhere. I mean,
All the cookies. Yep.
nothing against it. I enjoy it. It's just like I just want something a little weird. And so everything I got, like there's one that's a true sour, one that's a cross between sour and headband, the one that's a skunk, and then the one is actually a sour and slurricane cross. So
That one will be interesting.
That sure. Piques my interest.
Yeah.
I think the crosses will lend enough variety in the terpene profiles that like, no, I'm not going to get sick of them. No way.
Do you plan on taking cuts so that you can keep around a keeper?
Yeah, I think I will this time. Like I'm going to take cuts of all of them. That's just like I did that and I just had to cut my non-keeper that I kept the other day. It made me very sad because they do struggle to survive, but like ultimately I'm not growing for anyone but me. And like I love variety, and I could never imagine filling a tent with just one strain and like clones of that one plant. Like that I would get sick of for sure.
I think if you have that in addition to a fun tent, then it works.
Yeah, and like Master says, you'll have multiple auto harvests in between then that you'll take down.
For sure, dude. Yeah, and especially because they're going what, like if we're talking 5 weeks plus 11 weeks, we're already at 16. Like that's a run and a half, or run and a third of an auto. So yeah, I'll have my 2 autos, which I'm doing the funky Mangiferna and the Afghani. So those are looking great. I just transplanted the one. But actually what I'd like to do, what are we at? An hour. For the last couple half hour of the show, let's talk germination.
Let's
talk about the germination, shall we?
Yeah, I'm germinating tomorrow.
We want to have a successful germination, and I will give you some tips in order to do that. So, lately, I think I mentioned it before, I used to have a very complicated process involving DVD cases, paper towels, all this unnecessary crap. just listen. Put the seed in the fucking soil. Did you hear what I just said? Do I need to repeat myself? Put the seed in the fucking soil.
It's a problem for newer growers because there's a couple of reasons. They don't have enough patience. And
Humidity.
2, they end up washing away their seedlings with water. What I recommend is just spray the top of your pot before the thing comes up. That's more than enough to keep it moist, and that way you're not going to wash away your seedling. So I don't direct germinate photo seeds, not really too much, but auto seeds 100%. I don't want to be fucking around with like tap roots and stuff like that getting broken.
I think there's a lot that can go wrong if you overcomplicate this process.
Yeah, I do run into helmet heads way more often with direct sowing than with any other method, which can be annoying.
That's our next.
As long as you have a steady hand, it's usually okay. But I did lose a funky magnifera that way.
Why not? We'll get way ahead of ourselves, G3. So I want to back it up a little bit. Back it up a little bit. Just a wee bit. I want to talk about how we're going to we don't put the seed next to the soil, you smart ass. I see you. Right, put the seed in the soil. And like there is a little I literally just I take the seed, I hold it, I drop it. I make a little I put my finger this far up to like the end of my fingernail into the soil. Okay, there's my little divot. I put a scoop of Mycorrhizzle Fo Shizzle in the hizzle. And then I literally drop the seed into that hole. Then this is the next step, which I find extremely key, is how are we going to cover the seed with the soil then? It's not like a shovel back on top of the hole, okay? It's a pinch. Just pinch the sides very lightly, cover. And then, like you mentioned, Monster, I like to spray. I like to use just a generic spray bottle with regular tap water, nothing fancy, and just give it like 10 sprays. Very gentle sprays too, because even the spray bottle can, if you do it too hard, it'll jostle the seed, like that very nice, gentle placement that you achieved with.
It's like every time, like I say away, you do wash it away, you would think that it might germinate, like popped up, like off to the side, and sometimes it will. But I just often find once you wash that thing away from like watering it too much, that's it. It's gone. Like I don't know what happens to it. It goes to the seed gods or something. It just fucking disappears.
Yeah. It's an offering to the seed gods for sure. Now, the act of like doing all this stuff, like thumb or fingernail high, pinching, all this stuff, I find that I get a extremely high rate of germination. Like all my seeds will sprout. I seem to get helmet heads though more often than I'd like to. Like I'd say maybe a quarter to 30% of the time. I think we've talked about this before. It can be a humidity issue in your grow. I have solo cup domes over top of the, like, at least as far as when they're germinating. I like to keep that dome on top to keep the humidity high. I always have the humidifier running when they are germinating. Yet I still get them.
Me too. I don't understand it. Yet if I pop it in a paper towel, it's still the same thing. It barely has a taproot out. Then I put it in soil and then I don't get helmet heads. What's the fucking difference?
I think the paper towel or whatever you're using has more resistance. So it like almost pops. It holds that seed while the plant is growing out of it almost. You know what I mean?
Maybe more moisture absorbs into the shell, perhaps with the paper towel method. Like you force more moisture into there. I mean,
I'm sure there's something.
I think
there's the definitive reason. We just don't know why.
Maybe if I were to soak my seeds before I did, listen, I just don't like to, I just don't want to fuck with them. Seed goes in the soil straight from the pack. Okay. I don't like to see little tap roots. I'm going to trust the process. We're going to assume that they work. Okay. But I give them 3 to 4 days. Okay. After I do this, I spray them, I put them in the soil, I put the dome on top. 72 to 96 hours, 3 to 4 days. Then I'm looking. Then I'm like, okay, I want to see at least something poking. I want to see dirt having moved. I want to any signs of life. If after 4 days, 4 full days, I don't see jack squat, that's when I'm going in there with a tweezer.
Excavation.
Yeah, that's when there's probably a helmet head, and it's just it's preventing it from even popping above the soil, which I find happens pretty frequently. It does. These helmet heads won't even pop up. They'll just stay under the soil, they're just dying for. They get born and then they suffocate as soon as they're born. It's the saddest fucking thing. Unless you know that they're down there and they're you can hear them, their little cries for help, and then you go in there with the tweezers and you pry the shell off very gently.
You can also tell the difference between one that is stuck and needs assistance and one that's just taking its time. You can tell if the seed is spread apart enough, if the casing's open enough, that once it pops up above the soil, it will expand. Because that seed casing is important as it comes up through the soil. It protects those really tender, delicate new baby leaves and everything else. So you keep the helmet on until it breaks through, and then it'll take it off itself. I
have seen that happen too, for sure. And the membrane, someone just brought it up. The membrane is often. Yeah, I don't like the membrane. The inner film, we could call it the film. We'll call it the membrane, but that's often the hardest part to get off too. And seemingly just doesn't want to.
Yeah, that because you think you successfully got the helmet off, and then you end up breaking the fucking thing.
Right.
All of a sudden, your hands get super shaky.
Oh yeah, when you're performing the operation, it gets very tense, very tense. I mean, you got to make sure you have all your tools. I mean, I like to use very sharp tweezers. And it's pretty much remember playing the game Operation as a kid? A little bit like that. A little bit like that. Touch the sides, it'll give you a little give you a little jolt. I hated that game. And you know what game I really fucking hated? It was called Perfection.
Remember that game gave me anxiety.
Doesn't ring a bell.
Yeah, that game gave me
a block.
Horrible anxiety. Yeah, and a timer
popped up, and all the pieces
you had
went
to put
flying in your face
into the holes in time, or it would. Yep.
Oh, okay. Yeah, I remember that game.
Pop goes Perfection. Yeah, that's
brutal.
Oh my god, I hated that fucking
brutal games.
Could never win. Never. You had to be perfect, man. Not fair. And I know the game was called that, but geez, you'd think they'd give you a little bit of wiggle room. Nope, not at all. Not at all. Not at all. So yeah, the germination process. It's funny. I find it to be. It's the most stressful part of the grow, and I try to take as much stress out of that as just we're gonna trust the process kind of thing. Give them the best odds of success as possible, and let nature do its fucking thing. The seeds are designed to sprout. when they go into dirt. Like, just put the two together, give it a little moisture, make the thing happen, you know? Do you, one question I get often from people, like, when you're germinating, do you have your lights on or off in your tent?
If I'm direct sowing, on
24/7?
well, whatever,
24/0?
18.6 at least.
Just whatever light cycle you're
In the
working
bedroom, 18.6.
Yeah,
if it's
yeah,
under soil.
same.
If it's anywhere where the seed itself can like get direct light, then I cover it. So if it's in a paper towel or something, it gets covered.
Gotcha. So I don't, as far as I know, it does not matter if you have your lights on or off during germination. Like, the seed is not necessarily like looking for light as it's sprouting. It's some other mechanism that tells it to go up and out through the soil. But when it does sprout,
If you don't have any light on that thing when it sprouts,
yeah, then you're fucked.
it's gonna be fucking. They weasel down to like almost nothing.
Yeah, you got
sometimes.
like a day and a half
Tops.
Yeah, tops. I mean, you got to be on top of it. Once they sprout, if there's no light, then they're just going to look yellow.
Yeah,
you know, they're not going to be photosynthesizing, and then they will just wilt, pretty much like they'll look like a little alfalfa sprout.
Yeah, they'll definitely like yellow out and limp over.
Yep.
Or like they'll be thin, or yeah, and that's definitely no bueno for an autoflower. You've already fucked up at that point.
For sure.
Oh yeah. At that point, just start over.
At that point, just give up. Try again.
Like, I mean, with an auto, yes.
Yeah, you're only like 2 weeks, not even in. Like, you're
Go to Candyland.
So one thing, like, if we even go back further to, you know, we're talking the whole process of germinating. I've been using reused, re-amended soil. Okay, that like I actually had like stored outside for a little bit. Like, you know, it was in my garage, it was in my basement. At one point, it was in tubs, like outside, just kind of like baking in the sun on a tarp. After I had mixed it all, like, I was a little bit concerned, a little bit, about like bringing shit in, right? Like some kind of bug, some kind of larva, some dormant organism in my soil that like would then come to life in my grow, right? I sterilized my soil before after it was in my pots, after it was re-amended, okay, I sterilized it.
How'd you do so?
How'd you do that?
How, you ask? That's a good question. I think there's a couple methods. I think the easiest way would just to be water with boiling water.
Doesn't
Yeah,
that
it makes
kill
sense.
all of your microbes?
Say it again.
Doesn't that kill all your microbes? Like,
it does.
everything
Yes,
that you're
it would
kind of like.
all the bugs, microbes, larvae. So like G3, we're talking about like, this is, you know, I'm not like not a living soil grower. So I disturb my root zone every time. We're not really keeping microbes around from grow to grow. We are kind of re-adding NPK, and then after I have the plant in, see, I find I get better success with a sterile medium, like when we're germinating young seedlings and like that kind of stuff. I mean, it's not sterile because I'm adding the mycorrhizzle, like I talked about, but it's all controlled. All the only, life forms I'm adding to my soil are the ones that I want to
That's
add.
Controlled though. Exactly.
Very controlled. Yeah. So I worry that like there could be I don't know. I don't know what there could be outside. If I leave my soil on a tarp for a couple days,
maybe some homeless guy took a piss on it.
Exactly.
Cat took a shit in it.
Exactly. Like I don't want that. So maybe it's just me, but I think other people do this too. Like, it's not an uncommon practice, and there's other ways you can sterilize your soil too.
Yeah, you can
Like,
bake it, right?
for sure. Yeah, you could
Yeah.
bake it in an oven. Now, my
That
wife,
might
I feel like that would
kill
take
me.
so long.
Yeah.
So
You got to get like
long.
not one lasagna tray of soil, but like 12.
100.
Yeah. You got to get a big oven and just no
Unless
honey.
you have
We're
access
just
to like a professional kitchen, there's no way. That
No,
takes you a
don't-
week.
don't bake your soil unless you have professional oven. Even then, I think there's like the better way to do it. My opinion, cheapest, easiest, boiling water. Second cheapest, easiest way would be to use hydrogen peroxide in like a very diluted capacity. But that will also, that'll neutralize pretty much anything that's alive in that soil. And at that point, you can add back what you want. I mean, I have had instances of sudden seedling death syndrome, right? The name of a show back in the day. Because what I thought I had experienced was like uncontrolled fungal growth from, I think it was probably some kind of bokashi that I had added, and I was just fucking around with too many microbes in the early stages of life. And that is just a recipe for disaster. Just Mycorrhizzle Fo Shizzle.
Took over the earth. Holy cow.
Any of that other stuff, honestly, is you're risking it.
Yeah, it's just not healthy enough to utilize it really anyway. There's not enough roots. The mycorrhiza should be all you need to get it going. Some good quality shit.
Agreed. And that's like all, really, truly all that I do. Like the first 2 weeks of my plant's life, like I'm not doing shit. I mean,
yeah, and then Photo Plus has some good bacteria and stuff in there as well too, besides mycorrhiza. So you're definitely giving it more than
humics and stuff. But like the two autos, I just transplanted them. Like they're, and yeah, you can transplant autos. There's actually, I am finding that in some cases it's beneficial to transplant autos. If you get, yeah.
Tell me why.
Gives them a little bit of time to, like.
No, there is no such thing as giving an autoflower time.
Nope. Here's what I'm gonna say. It's easier to stunt an autoflower in an oversaturated big pot than by transplant shock from transplanting at the proper time. Like, if you have an oversaturated medium in like a 5-gallon container or more, and you put a little seed in the pot and there's way too much water in the pot, you're going to have a bad time. It needs to be at the right moisture level. Like your medium needs to be at the right moisture level. A lot easier
to fuck shit up transplanting an autoflower than it is to deal with a little bit of water. Like you may lose a day or two if it struggles with the amount of moisture until it dries up a little bit and gets to the point where it's like, all right, now we can party. But there are so many things that can go wrong.
If you use the tried and true auto transplant method.
There is a correct way to do it. I'm just saying your risk of fucking something up is high.
I think it's lower.
Say you leave it an extra day or two, right? And your tap root hits the bottom of your cup or whatever. All right, well now you just triggered flowering. Congratulations, you just took off that much more time. I just think there's a lot you can screw up. You can jostle things.
I think you
might not be at the right moisture level for transplant.
I think you have about a 2-day window.
Another thing.
I think you have a 2-day window to transplant. True, maybe a 3-day window. After that, like, yeah, it is about timing, but it's also about like, it's the moisture level of the medium matters so much. Okay, like when you start your plant, you start your auto in a little solo cup full of soil that's like that's saturated. Okay. Like there's no question. Like you just watered all of that soil in the solo cup to runoff. You got a little bit, you stopped. It's fully saturated. That's when I put my seed in the soil and I put the solo cup on top. Then I give it 4 days, and then I'm like digging with tweezers if I don't see anything. But most of the time, I'm going to see, they're going to come out successfully. Because I saturated that little medium there, and because of the growth rate of the plant, it's not that fast. It doesn't drink that much. It's literally 2 weeks. I don't have to do a fucking thing. Like the first 2 weeks until after I transplant. Like I just find the timing lines up. There are these healthy little vigorous seedlings around 12 days old. Okay. When I like to put them in their final pot, they're not quite filled up that solo cup of soil with the root mass. But one thing it does too, it allows me to give like that root mass like an actual sprinkle of mycorrhizal around it, not just watering it in. Like we're adding more on top of the roots now and then putting it back in the soil. That shit fucking helps, like truly. Like you may just want, if you don't transplant, I think you should fucking just rip your plant out of the soil at 2 weeks old and then sprinkle some mycorrhizal on it, put it back in. That's what I'm saying.
Love that. Don't do that to your plants.
Probably not. No. I'm not trying to, okay, like you can, all I'm saying is you can do it and you can do it well. And I've never had an issue with this method of transplanting that I do with autos, and they never skip a beat. It's just like, there's sometimes it's going to be a benefit to you to save the space to, like, if you don't have a bag of soil quite ready yet to go, I don't know, it just gives you a little wiggle room.
I think it can work for certain people. But I think the majority of people would fuck it up. And there's no doubt about it that it works for you. You got a method down pat with the double cup, clear cup. You can kind of keep an eye on it.
Yeah, you do you, boo. But I think in general, if you're worried about space and that's not something that you can deal with right then, grow photo period. And then when
I think people can just as easily overwater, though.
Grow an autoflower.
I mean, I see so many stunted autos out there, and I know it's because they're
overwatering is so much easier to do in a pot that's too big for a small plant.
Yeah,
that
could go either way.
Kind of where this, that's where I come from.
Hard to overwater with a spray bottle, though.
But how much moisture is in your soil when you sow that seed? Because I would think, like, if you do like fully saturated soil, like you would just watered, and then you put seed in, like that's a little too much,
Maybe with soil, but with cocoa, it's not a problem.
With cocoa, yeah, you want it, yeah. Soil, it is, though. It's about that very precise moisture range, like maybe 70% saturated, a little bit of room to go. I don't know.
You don't want it to be a bog. Like, they're not bog plants.
No.
But you want them to be, I don't know, like it just rained.
Like a fresh spring rain. I know. You gotta have moisture for sure. You just can't have too much. It can be often the source of a lot of problems early life. But I don't know. Like, again, like I think there's a good method for transplanting autos. I wanted to make sure people knew what was out there. It's an option. Do what you want.
It's well worth a shot. I mean, God, like try it.
Try it out.
Between those two options, I think there's a lot more that can go wrong with transplanting autos than dealing with wet soil. That's just the level of experience.
Yeah.
Even experienced growers will fuck up a transplant.
Oh, you can fuck up anything. You can fuck anything up, truly. It's the beauty of it. I fuck something up different every time.
That's what makes
Nobody's
it fun.
perfect.
Never know what I'm gonna fuck up next, do I? One thing I'm definitely gonna be doing this run is staking or giving my plants some sort of support, whether that's a trellis net, stakes, like that's especially with sativas that might stretch 3 times in flower and have like wispy branches but huge bulbous buds.
You can mitigate some of that stretch by keeping your nighttime temps close to your daytime temps. If you can do it.
Interesting. Like blue light too, right? Or
I'm not sure about I've never heard anything in regards to lighting to keep them down, but
node spacing.
Yeah, I guess it
kinda
makes
tighter.
sense to a certain point, but I know because it's worked for me.
Nighttime temps close to the daytime,
If not the same, yeah, or even warmer.
It's interesting. I wonder what like environmental conditions that's mimicking. Like what very interesting.
I read it in a book somewhere, and I've heard it regurgitated back to, and I've tried it, and it works. So it's definitely a commonly used practice out there to help mitigate stretch. Another thing too is like you can bend and pop some of the branches. So if you just like grab the branch, let me see if I can do it with this fucking Q-tip here. If you grab the branch and you hold it with 2 fingers and you just twist the opposite way all along up, that'll actually help. And then good old silica.
Good old silica. Yeah, however you get it. I think
I get mine from the Silica Fairy. What, you don't?
What do you put under
your pillow?
Put rice holes under your pillow. The Silica Fairy comes. No, honestly, I think I'm probably not getting enough silica. I will say that. Like I would like to find a product that like a little bit of additional silica, might not be just a full-on like super pure silica additive, but like something that includes silica. Definitely be open to checking.
I like the raw. You ever hear of Raw Nutrients?
No.
Mm-hmm.
They make a good silica powdered product. A little bit goes a long way.
I will be looking it up, man. That sounds interesting.
And then Kelp for Less. Shout out to Kelp for Less. They don't sponsor me at all, but I've bought a lot of shit from them over the years. They have tons of good amendments. Kelp.
It's like, come on down to Crazy Kelp Warehouse.
Pretty much.
We're practically giving kelp away. Our prices are so low, it's ridiculous.
And they got good yucca powder too. We're talking about the high cost of the Q.
Buy it in bulk now, man. Then when the beverage industry gets a hold of the yucca, you'll have it on lockdown.
It's pretty clear that the Q is a superior product. I mean,
it is for sure.
But the yucca will get you by.
You have to use a little bit more of the yucca and
Definitely.
the nut. Like, I mean, as far as like purity, that's why we were using the Q Yaha, because it was like a little goes a long way. And
but I wonder if this yucca powder, however you pronounce it, is also having some other benefits, like maybe some trace minerals and stuff like that that we haven't thought about.
It's a good point. That's a good point, man. But would you look at that? The time is almost, it's time to go. Sadly, until next week. I don't think we have any new Patreons this week, but I do want to mention that we have a Patreon. If you guys would like to support the show, it is nice thing to do. Help support your local craft cannabis podcast sort of thing. Help us pay the bills, keep the lights on, keep the ship afloat. And yeah, thank you guys in the chat. Thank you guys. You guys. I'm gonna point the right direction. No. That way. you guys. Thank you guys. And yeah, we'll see you same time, same place next week, right?
I'll be here.
Cool. Well, don't get caught, and peace out. My two final words. What?
Next week, I have a couple of Smokers Focuses to give away, courtesy of Mass Hydro.
Nice. What's that?
It's a little magnifying jar with a light in it that you can put your bud in, and
Cool.
It magnifies it, and you can actually like take a look at the trichromes. It's pretty cool.
Can you slam it in there? And
you could slam it if you really want. Yep. I just don't know how long it'll work after you slam it so many times.
Cool, man. Well, we'll give that away next show. Cool, guys. Peace out. Don't get caught.